Hey, welcome to another countdown to Outbound. I'm Mark Hunter, the sales hunter. And wow, I'll tell you what, it is always jazzed to be able to do countdown to Outbound from Australia. Okay, I'm not in Australia, but our next guest, Tony Hughes, is in Australia. So, hey, why don't we get him in here? We're going to get him in here and chat with him a little bit about what's going on. He's got a new book coming out. Really cool. So let's roll the video and let's get rolling. Good day, mate. How is Tony?
G'day, Mark. I'm really well. I love the way you use the word chat. That's a very English and Aussie kind of term.
Oh, is it? Oh, great. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, it is. It is. And another thing you may not know is there's a very famous Australian called Mark Hunter. He's a TV personality. He's the lead singer of a band called Dragon. So you should maybe look him up sometime. He's a big talent.
Well, you know, what's funny is I've actually had some emails from some people who work with him. And yeah. But actually, you know, what's funny is the name Mark Hunter is a pretty famous name because there's a lead singer of an Irish rock band. There's a member of parliament. Hockey player. Yeah. So, but I'm just the lowly kid from the United States. So anyway, but hey, we're not talking about me. We're talking about you. You've got some cool stuff happening. You want to tease the audience with what you got coming in about 6 weeks?
Yeah, so I've got my third book coming out. I've co-authored it with Justin Michael out of the USA. It's called Tech-Powered Sales. Everyone who's had a look at it has given us the feedback that it's pretty mind-blowing. It's a book that neither he nor I on our own could have ever written. So this has blended a whole lot of cutting-edge tech stack techniques blended with old school principles of selling that will always continue to work. But the thing that I really believe is that in this decade, 1/3 of field business-to-business selling roles are going to disappear. And I know that's a pretty dramatic claim. The book talks about how you can insulate yourself from that kind of apocalypse in sales.
Wow. Because I'll tell you what, because I just happen to have a copy here of your last book, Combo Prospecting, which great book came out a few years ago. And I'll tell you what, I love it. So the title of the new book again is what now?
Is Tech-Powered Sales. It's published by HarperCollins, New York, and the American Management Association.
That's great. And I'll tell you what, I love it how you're really blending new versus old. Because I'll tell you what, a lot of sales strategies that people say are old, they still work just as well today. But then you're blending in the whole tech piece. That's great. Because again, some people get this thing, if they just get enough tech, if their tech stack, their sales stack is big enough, everything will be good.
Well, I heard someone say once, if you take an idiot and provide lots of training, you know, all you've got is an idiot that'll fail faster. If you take somebody that's ineffective and throw a lot of technology at them, all you have is a more expensive, ineffectual person, right? And on average, in B2B tech sales, companies spend about $1,000 US per month per person. That's going to $2,000. I think this decade it'll get to $5,000. But the reality is, for most sellers, they treat their tech stack like their gym membership. You know, someone's paying the fee every month and they hardly ever go. So it's important that people develop technical quotient. They've got to get good with tech.
So that's great. So you really address this issue head on. And I love that analogy with the gym membership. You're right. Because so many people feel just because I bought the gym membership, I'm in shape. No, right? No, you got to use it. And that's so true with tech tools because so many organizations buy. I was working. In fact, I talk about it in my book about a company that had a CRM system. And in fact, it was custom developed. They spent millions and millions of dollars to develop it. And it was so bad that the division I was working with, they had their own CRM system. They refused to use the company one.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, the amount that's interesting. You say 1,000 going to 2,000 and 5,000 before the end of the decade. That's huge. That's huge. And yet people think that's the solution. Wow.
Well, technology on its own is not, right. So the thing I always believe is every company's got to look themselves in the mirror and ask the really hard questions about product market fit to really define their ideal customer profile, know their buyer personas, understand the problems that they solve for people, and then build the right conversations. And Mark, I know that you're really big on this. There's so many lies that have been peddled out in the marketplace in probably the last 5 years about, for example, social selling. If I just groom my LinkedIn profile and post content and connect with people, then the world will be the path to my door. And you and I both know that personal brand and social proof is really important because buyers research. But at the end of the day, what we normally have to do is interrupt someone's day and be relevant to them. Right? That's really what we need to do. We've got to find a way to break into their world, because only 3% of the market at any given time is actively looking for what we sell. And if we come into that net, well, then it's a red ocean feeding frenzy of comparison anyway, right? So old school, new school is the key.
Huge. You know, it's interesting. I was in a debate today on LinkedIn with a person who says, all I need is LinkedIn, to sell. And I go, well, how do you reach those who aren't on LinkedIn? He said, name an industry that's not. And I rattle off about half a dozen industries. I mean, I was just coaching an individual about 2 hours ago. None of the industry he's in, they're not on LinkedIn. They could care less about LinkedIn. And so, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's amazing how people get blinded. And again, not to rip on LinkedIn, because it's a great tool. It's a great tool to reach a lot of customers if that's where your customers are.
Well, Mark, here's the really interesting thing. For those that are watching this live right now, you might be thinking, man, here's these two old dinosaurs that are all anti-LinkedIn. They probably don't even know what the UI looks like. Let me tell you something really surprising. Mark and I are two of the top 3 people on the face of the planet, according to LinkedIn, if you measure by the number of followers and the amount of content that's been engaged with. So you've got 2 of the 3 top people in the world that have succeeded in LinkedIn in building following. I think, Mark, we've got about 350,000 followers each.
Yes, that's correct. LinkedIn. That's correct.
Right. Yeah. I know I sneakily got past you just. I think you
did you? I didn't, because I remember a couple of years ago we were kind of in this race. And it is funny because this is the whole thing. If what we're saying is so bad, why are so many people following us, right?
Well, yeah. Well, look, anyway, the thing with LinkedIn is it's really important because it's a great research platform. You can monitor for trigger events. You can find a way to get introduced to somebody. You can publish your own insights and content when those 3/4 of people that are thinking of engaging with you decide to go and look at you first. You can make sure that what they see is really positive and they lean in. So all of those things are really important, but you can't just be hyper passive and avoid the phone. We all need to get back on the phone. I know you absolutely believe that, but it's blended omni-channel approaches with people. You don't know what someone's preferred channel is if they're a stranger, unless you've had some coaching. You just won't know. So approach them in all of the channels until you find the one that works best for them.
And the preferred channel for you may not be the preferred channel for them. I always say my goal is to take the online connection and turn it into the offline conversation. That's my goal. You know?
Exactly.
And it's amazing because I can have it was funny. I had a phone call today. I had a 25-minute phone call today with a person who I'd never talked to before. We connected by way of LinkedIn. There was somebody who said, hey, you need to connect with this person. So we connected by way of LinkedIn. I subsequently sent her a couple of emails and tried to reach her a couple times. Didn't break through. Finally, on like the 3rd phone call, I left another voicemail and she texted me back. And she said, what's this about? So I texted her and then she said, let's talk. And we did. But it all, and this was this exchange of I was trying to reach out to her. And so probably it was about 5 or 6, maybe 7 attempts. We connected on LinkedIn. She actually accepted my invite. So I know, like, okay, and there was some common interest there. I know. And boom, it led to about a 25-minute phone call today with a clear action step going forward. But it was a combination of using 3 different channels: email, LinkedIn, and text.
Yeah, Mark, it's so true. One of my clients, I work closely with the CEO for Asia Pacific. He's got 5,000 employees in this region, but he's always said to me, his number 1 preferred communication platform in this particular region is WhatsApp.
Right.
And for all of his inner circle, he says, don't email me. Even my EA can barely get through the flood of emails in my inbox. And then he said to me, I regard LinkedIn, not me, but him. He regards LinkedIn as this narcissistic echo chamber of spam from sellers and recruiters. So he gets into LinkedIn once a week is the only time he gets in there. But the reason he loves text messages and WhatsApp, he said it forces people to be brief. And time is precious to him. He doesn't want to read a 7-paragraph long email that eventually has some kind of ask or point buried in the content. It's like, tell me what you want, and then provide additional details. So start all communications at the end and be brief. And that's how he asks his people to work with them. And if we want to elevate engagement, talk the language of leaders, it's results, it's outcomes, it's brevity. They want us to get to the point.
Well, it's interesting because this person I was engaging with, she's on the board of directors of several pretty significant companies. She's ex-C-suite person at several Fortune 500 companies. And I know because she was texting me, I had to text back. She's looking for brevity. She's looking for brevity. And it's interesting. WhatsApp is a tool that, we just don't use it much here in the US. But globally, it is a preferred communication method. I use it with a lot of my clients around the world. And it does force you to be brief. It forces you to be concise. And there's something about that because you said something on LinkedIn on this person. What I detest about LinkedIn is what I call click and pitch.
Yes.
Right. I mean, they just start pitching. I mean, I must get 2 or 3 of these stupid messages every day from people. And for some reason, they think, sorry, you haven't even looked at my profile. Give me a break.
Hey, Mark, can I just jump in on that? The number of people that pitch me, would I be interested in some sales training? And I think, have you even looked at my profile? This is what I go and do for others, So, but it's really kind of comical. I used to reply to people and try and give them some coaching. Now I just ignore it. And what I'll be forced to do very soon, because I'm about to hit my limit of the number of first-degree connections you're allowed to have in LinkedIn of 30,000. Yeah. I'm going to have to start deleting people to make room for the ones I want in my network. But hey, we've got the OutBound conference coming up.
Yes,
OutBound Down Under for the very first time, which is so exciting. Tell the people watching this about the heritage of the OutBound conference in North America, because it's just phenomenal. A lot of people in this region just don't know.
Well, yeah, heritage of it. It began really when Anthony, Jeb Blunt, myself, and a few others, we were just kind of having a mastermind group, and we began doing some webinars, and then we did this event, and it worked well. And we said, hey, let's do an event on our own. So we did an event in Atlanta probably about 5 years ago. We had like 300 people show up for it, and it was just 4 of us. And then so that worked. So then like a year and a half later, we did another one. We added a date to it. We invited some other people. That worked. And then we moved to the convention center in Atlanta, which I believe is the largest it's one of the largest convention centers in the world. Wow. And we moved to that. This was 2 years ago. It had over 1,000 people at it. And we made it a 2-day main stage event and kept growing. And when I mean growing, the video board is 33 meters across.
Wow.
33 meters across. So you stop and think about the staging, the amount of lights, the music, everything. This is a rock show that is disguised as a sales meeting. And what's nice is there's no selling from the stage. You're getting 100% content from everybody. And so it's grown. Last year we couldn't have it because of COVID. This year we leaned into it. I give Jeb Blunt and Anthony Iannarino a lot of credit. They leaned into it and they said, you know what, we're going to do it in June. Because I was like, maybe August. And no, we're going to do it in June. I said, okay, let's go. And boy, I'll tell you what, it has really worked out well. And adding Down Under with the 5 of you. Oh man, what a great addition. Because we get to go all day in Atlanta and then we get to flip the feed and there you are coming from a studio in Melbourne.
Yeah, it'll be funny, and for all of the folks in America, they'll be listening to people from the future, right? Because we're a long way ahead here. You can turn your watches forward about 12 hours and maybe backwards 10 years. I'm not sure.
Well, no, because this is funny because I always do these sessions at 8 a.m. in the morning here in the U.S., and I have a cup of coffee in my hand. It's 5 p.m. now for me, and I've already had too much coffee. So sorry. I mean, you're drinking either coffee or tea. I'm sorry. I'm just doing this without. But yeah, outbound. I tell you what, this is something that people, and for the last several years, we've had people make the trip from Australia to the U.S. For outbound. Of course, this year travel restrictions don't, but this is why we're doing outbound down under. But because what's nice is it kicks off at 10 a.m. Australia time. I mean, with the exception if you're in Perth. In Perth, it'll be 7 a.m., but 10 a.m. for everybody else. And get 5 dynamite presenters on Thursday and Friday of outbound. And of course, really, when you buy the ticket, you get to watch all of us in Atlanta. So you get to get up at like midnight and watch us.
Well, we've been riffing on what we think the sort of panel conversations will be, and one of the ones I think we're going to do is the reasons you deserve to get fired in sales.
Oh, so, hey, I've been fired from 2 different sales jobs.
Really?
I talk about it in my book, A Mind for Sales. My first 2 sales jobs, I got fired from. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I still get to stand on the main stage at Outbound. So there you go. So it does say that you can turn things around in your life. Yeah.
Well, I just want to encourage everybody, make sure you buy a ticket for Outbound. It obviously includes Outbound Down Under. The speakers are absolutely phenomenal. Mark, Jeb, Anthony, Iannarino, just an amazing array of speakers. I've started mentioning people now. I'll offend people I forgot to mention, but there's so many people that are involved. But everything has got practical application. It'll absolutely help you drive results.
Yeah.
The things I'm going to be talking about, I've got 2 sessions as well as this panel. One of my sessions is selling during tough times. The thing that's really interesting is that what's happened in 2020 and 2021 has really been a catalyst for accelerating a lot of change that was going on in the market anywhere. We absolutely live in a digital first world now. It's harder to get on site with clients. The big challenge is how do you get someone to turn their camera on when you're having a virtual video meeting on Zoom or some other platform. But we'll talk about how do you manage to break through and succeed in tough times, personal motivation, mindset, all of those pieces. The other keynote I'm going to be doing is basically the future of selling around this new book, Tech Powered Sales. But how do you really future-proof your own career? Make sure that you continue to provide the value for both your customers and your employer that really funds what you do. So it'll be a lot of fun. Oh,
and I'll tell you what. And hey, I bet you got a secret code that people can save $100 on, right?
Yeah, I do. I think it's RSVP 100.
Okay, RSVP 100. I'm pretty sure that's what it is too. If that doesn't work, you can use my code Mark 100, but RSVP 100. Yeah. RSVP 100. Because I'll tell you what, it'll save you $100 on a ticket. And I'll tell you what, this is one of those events that you got to make sure that you've got. You're taking notes. You are taking notes, and then you're going to go back and listen to the recordings again, because I know I'm anxious because I'm helping to drive the thing and not able to sit in on all the sessions. I have to block time afterwards to go back to listen to all of the recordings and to view all the sessions, because there's that much content that I want to learn from. So yeah, it's great. Outboundconference.com is the website that you can go to. But the dates you see on the screen there, if you're from Australia, those are the U.S. dates. Okay, so apologize. Okay, we'll just pop this graphic up there real quick. So see, it is outbound down under, but anyway. But yeah, 10 a.m. it kicks off for the Australia version on Thursday and Friday. Hey, we got a dash here in just a second. Real quick, what's your website if people want to learn more about your book?
The best place to find me is at tonyhughes.com.au. tonyhughes.com.au. You'll see all my books. There's lots of video, podcast, content, webinars. So you can find me there, or obviously in LinkedIn.
Great. Outstanding. Because that's right. Because you also got the Joshua Principle, right? Isn't that your first book?
Yeah, that's my first book. It's in its 10th printing. So that was really good. But I really think tech-powered sales could be the thing that actually goes really big. It's pretty wild. It's got a lot of futurism in there, but a lot of very practical application.
Well, and you're allowed to do that because you're coming from Australia, so it's Wednesday evening here, but it's Thursday morning for you. Hey, we got a dash here to keep ourselves on track. Stick around for the after the show, would you? Okay, did you do that? Hey,
thanks, Mark.
We've been talking to Tony Hughes, one of the speakers at OutBound. And we're going to roll the video, and hopefully Tony's going to stick around, and we'll talk some more. See, that was a fast video. Yeah,
that was fast.
Hey, I am so jazzed because it's so funny because we've only seen each other in person once. That was in London, right?
In London, yeah.
In London, yeah. Because I remember that's right. We had dinner together one night, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I wanted to buy you dinner and get to know you. I've been a big fan of following you online.
No, yeah. I mean, it was great. We were both over there for I can't remember the conference name, but
actually that conference was comical. It wasn't that great the way it was run.
No, I guess it's maybe good that we don't mention the name.
No, we won't.
But you know what? It was great.
There was this big open hall with everyone had booths, and every booth had a microphone and someone speaking on it, all cutting over the top of everybody else. It was just crazy.
It was like a carnival barking, kind of like the dog that's barking. That's my sales dog. That's Super Sales Dog. So he's just closed another sale. So anyway, but hey, what can I say?
He just closed the postman.
That's right. There you go. So your book comes out in 6 weeks. Yeah, you got to be chasing a ton. I tell you what, writing a book is difficult. Launching a book is even more difficult.
It's crazy. And Justin, the co-author, actually is doing the reading for the audiobook.
Oh, good.
I think he was pretty shocked at how much work there is in creating the audiobook as well.
Oh, the audiobook. And boy, this dog must be closing one heck of a big sale because that dog is just going to town. So it's good. Anyway, hey, we got to run, but it's great. I'm looking forward to reading your book, and I'm going to be leaving a review on Amazon as soon as it comes out because I know how important Amazon reviews are because that's how it tells other people. And of course, I'll be sharing it, talking about it with my audiences. So I think my dog has landed probably the biggest sale.
It's equivalent to someone ringing the bell, right?
There you go. Good. Hey, great to catch up with you, and I'll be looking forward to OutBound Down Under. Take care.
Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate it, buddy. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.